All right, we have this breaking news we've been telling you about. A verdict has been reached in the civil trial involving Rebecca Grossman, ex-Dodger Scott Erikson. It's a live look inside the courtroom. Let's listen in.
Interest to decedent Jacob Iskander, Zachary Iskander by and through his guardian ad litem Kareem Iskander, plaintiffs, versus Rebecca June Grossman, an individual, Peter Grossman, an individual, Scott Erikson, an individual, defendants. Case number 21 STCV 01600, special verdict form. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the following special verdict on the questions submitted to us. Question number 1. Was defendant Rebecca Grossman negligent? Answer yes. Question number 2. Was defendant Rebecca Grossman's negligence a substantial factor in causing the deaths of Mark and Jacob Iskander? Answer yes. Question number 3. Was defendant Scott Erikson negligent? Answer yes. Question number 4. Was defendant Scott Erikson's negligence a substantial factor in causing the deaths of Mark and Jacob Iskander? Answer yes. Question number 5. Did defendant Rebecca Grossman and defendant Scott Erikson act in concert with each other in the course of their activities leading up to the fatal collision? Answer yes. Question number 6. Did defendant Rebecca Grossman have the permission of defendant Peter Grossman to operate the subject vehicle on the date of the fatal collision? Answer yes. Question number 7. What are plaintiff Nancy and Kareem Iskander's past wrongful death damages from September 29, 2020 to the present for the loss of Mark Iskander's love, companionship, comfort, care, assistance, affection, society, and moral support? Answer, $8 million. Question number 8. What are plaintiff Nancy and Kareem Iskander's future wrongful death damages from today and forward for the loss of Mark Iskander's love, companionship, comfort, care, assistance, affection, society, and moral support? $51 million. Question number 9. What are plaintiff Nancy and Kareem Iskander's past wrongful death damages from September 29, 2020, the present for the loss of Jacob Iskander's love, companionship, comfort, care, assistance, affection, society, and moral support? $6 million. Question number 10. What are plaintiff Nancy and Kareem Iskander's future wrongful death damages from today and forward for the loss of Jacob Iskander's love, companionship, comfort, care, assistance, affection, society, and moral support? $42 million. Question number 11. At the time the fatal collision occurred, was Nancy Iskander aware that it was causing injury or death to Jacob and Mark Iskander? Answer, yes. Question number 12. What are plaintiff Nancy Iskander's past damages for her serious emotional distress from September 29, 2020 to present? $10 million. Question number 13. What are plaintiff Nancy Iskander's future damages for her serious emotional distress from today and forward? $25 million. Question number 14. At the time the fatal collision occurred, was plaintiff Zachary Iskander aware that it was causing injury or death to Jacob and Mark Iskander? Answer, yes. Question number 15. What are plaintiff Zachary Iskander's past damages for his serious emotional distress from September 29, 2020 to present? $6 million. Question number 16. What are plaintiff Zachary Iskander's future damages for his serious emotional distress from today and forward? $28 million. Question number 17. Did defendant Rebecca Grossman engage in conduct with malice or oppression? Answer, yes. Question number 18. Did defendant Scott Erikson engage in conduct with malice, oppression, or fraud? Answer, yes. Question number 19. Did the city of Westlake own the roadway and intersection of Triumphal Canyon Road and Saddle Mountain Drive at the time of the fatal collision? Answer, yes. Question number 20. Was the roadway and intersection of Triumphal Canyon Road and Saddle Mountain Drive in a dangerous condition at the time of the fatal collision? Answer, no. Signed. Presiding juror number 2 is Hirschberger, June 3rd, 2026.
The jury, does this reflect your verdict?
Yes.
Any need for any further polling?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm going to go to you each. Can I do it generally or at each question?
That's to each question.
All right, pull out your sheets. As to question number 1, answer is yes. Question 2, answer is yes. Question number 3, juror number 1, does this reflect your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
9?
Yes.
10?
Yes.
11?
Yes.
12?
Yes.
Question 4. Was defendant Scott Erikson negligence a substantial factor in causing the death of Mark and Jacob Iskander? The answer is yes. Juror number 1, does this reflect your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror number 3?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
9?
Yes.
10?
Yes.
11?
Yes.
12?
Yes.
Question number 5. Did defendant Rebecca Grossman and defendant Scott Erikson act in concert with each other in the course of their activities leading up to the fatal collision? Answer, yes. Juror number 1, does that reflect your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
Yes.
9?
Yes.
10?
Yes.
11?
Yes.
And 12.
Yes.
Question number 6. Did defendant Rebecca Grossman have the permission of...
All right, we've been listening to the verdict being read in the Rebecca Grossman and Scott Erikson civil trial in Van Nuys today. And if I heard it correctly, it's yes to negligence and yes to causing negligent death. And the jury seemed to award upwards of $170 to $180 million in damages for the family there.
Now, let's keep in mind that the family was asking for $400 million for this crash that happened back in 2020. So quite the difference there, and that's why we should, get a little bit more context as to what this all means. Want to bring in legal analyst
Absolutely.
Royal Oakes here for that. Royal, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
Royal, let's start with the fact that we were listening to the judge there polling the jury. This seemed to be a unanimous decision.
Yes, it did. And of course, every once in a while you see a movie where they poll the jury and one of the 12 jurors says, oh, no, you got it wrong. It wasn't my vote. Well, that's in the movies. So we now know that all 12 agreed. And the critical thing here is this is a blockbuster verdict, huge numbers, a bunch of different elements. First of all, what about loss of companionship and love because they lost their 2 sons? 107 million total. Secondly, what about emotional distress for the parents? That's $69 million total. You add it up and it's $176 million. But wait, there's more. They also said, I believe, that they thought that there was malice, oppression, and fraud, meaning that punitive damages could be another phase of this trial. And if that's what happens, if the judge allows this to go to a second phase, this $176 million could turn into 10 times that under the law. So you could be looking at over $1 billion at the end of this case.
Royal, we want to clarify something. This is a civil trial. Rebecca Grossman is already serving 15 years to life for the criminal part of this. But I wrote down the same words you did here, conduct with malice. Could that could that mean additional charges for Scott Erikson at some point?
Right. What is happening here is, as you say, the context is this was not a criminal case. She was found guilty of murder in the second degree, and she went away for 15 years to 25 to life. Erikson was not convicted of anything. Misdemeanor charges were dropped. So what happened today was the verdict in a civil case. And to the extent this jury said not only are we awarding $176 million, but also we found malice. Now, to the extent there is a second phase to the trial for punitive damages, that $176 million could balloon into something much bigger in a second trial where the judge would have the jury hear evidence about the wealth of the defendants, just how reprehensible their conduct was, whether there's any remorse.
Royal, so this was a second day of deliberations. Does that at all surprise you as far as like the number that they came up with on the second day?
Not really. It was a no-brainer, really, to go against Rebecca Grossman for this reason. Once you're convicted of a crime, it's a virtual certainty that you'll also be found liable in civil court because, of course, we know the preponderance of the evidence standard in civil case is kind of low compared to the guilt beyond a reasonable doubt standard that you have in the criminal case. Now, again, that only applied to Rebecca Grossman, but there was virtually no doubt that she would be found liable given her criminal conviction, plus the evidence that she was going 81 miles an hour, and the evidence that she tried to get away, but her smart car decided, whoops, we had a huge crash, so I'm shutting down. All of that added up to convince this jury that she deserves to be socked with a huge verdict.
The initial verdict, as you pointed out, and I wrote down the same number, $176 million. You look at the two defendants here, and you think, who's got that kind of money? But there was also a question that stood out. Did she have permission to drive the car? So what does that tell you in terms of where the deep pockets are on this?
That tells us that the jury made this decision saying, well, the husband gave permission to Ms. Grossman to drive this car. That does open up liability, open up responsibility and financial resources. And you can bet that, as you suggest, Colleen, very few people, even if you're a high-powered doctor, are going to have that kind of money. And as a result, we'll just have to wait and see about collection efforts. And, of course, obviously, there will be an appeal inevitably. There could be settlement discussions where you'd go to a mediation. At this point, we don't know how all of that is going to unravel.
Yeah, certainly there's more to come. Royal Oaks, thank you so much.